You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm
Sure.
ready for action. Are you ready for action? Can you see me?
Not right now.
No?
Okay, let's get going here. You want to turn on your video? If you like, you can. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Try. Okay. Where is the document I wanted to share?
Yes.
So here we go. The document I wanted to share was,
Is everybody on?
yeah, everyone's on.
Great.
So this is a document published in 2021, the minutes of the annual general meeting. The title is Iskcon Governing Body Commission Society. And then I wanted to go to page 25. This is all the resolutions they're passing and this and that. So this is the resolutions of whatever they pass. They make a law out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they're like the cardinals in the Catholic Church. They make proposals, and they all get together, unelected people, and they vote on it, and they call that Iskcon policy, whereas it's actually not.
Yeah. So
it has zero to do with Iskcon.
Yeah. So one policy that we're going to be discussing on, which was passed, when was it? July 19th, 2021.
That was their previous meeting.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Where is it? We're going to go to page 25, I think. Yeah. Because we have discussed this before, so I'd like to bring it up to speed here. Majari Prabhu, can you read this, Prabhu, since you're the best reader?
Sure. Title Vaishnavi Diksha Gurus, 2019 Amendment 2021.
I can't see the text. Ramachandra, can you project the text for me?
No, the text is being projected. Rupa, you can see, right?
I can see it.
Yeah, you gotta swipe your screen left to right or right to left to see it. You see it?
Nope. I had it before.
I don't know what's going on, but
okay, well, never mind. I'll just listen.
Okay.
Whereas the GBC put in abeyance the 2019 Vaishnavi Diksha Guru resolution so that the GBC and the Indian Bureau could discuss the topic in more detail. Whereas representatives of the Bureau and representatives of the GBC met jointly more than 24 times over the period of a year. Whereas those meetings were facilitated by professional mediators, including a mediator chosen by the Bureau and another mediator who is a senior member of the Iskcon Resolve.
Did you say meat eaters?
Mediator.
Oh, same thing. Okay.
Whereas the GBC representatives made a sincere effort to hear and understand the concerns and opinions of the Bureau representatives. Whereas the GBC representatives noted that they valued the time spent with the Bureau members and that they now better understand the views of the Bureau representatives after those meetings. Whereas the GBC...
That's a lot of words to pay a professional to write.
Whereas the GBC delegation concluded that further meetings or additional study of the matter would not provide new insights. Whereas the GBC delegation reported that based on these discussions, some clarifications of the 2019 resolution on Vaishnavi Diksha Gurus are required. 701.6 Iskcon Spiritual Masters Vaishnavi Diksha Gurus 2019. Whereas the GBC in its November 17th, 2021 meeting determined that on rare occasions, a GBC resolution may be certified as a culturally sensitive resolution, and thus within specific GBC guidelines. That resolution may be applied differently across Iskcon regions. Whereas in 2009, the GBC resolved female Diksha gurus. The GBC accepts the philosophical conclusion presented in the SAC's Female Diksha Guru paper that a mature, qualified female devotee may accept the role of an initiating spiritual master. The GBC body authorizes local area committees to put forward for approval as initiating guru any devotee in their area, male or female, who is qualified according to existing GBC law. Whereas the GBC has worked to achieve consensus and implementation of this resolution for many years, including the above mentioned extensive dialogues with representatives of the India Bureau. Therefore, the resolution regarding Vaishnavi Diksha Gurus of 2019, 701.6, Iskcon Spiritual Masters Vaishnavi Diksha Gurus, 2019 is amended and replaced by the following. Number 1, Vaishnavis are eligible to give Diksha within Iskcon provided that they A, meet all the qualifications listed for Iskcon Diksha Guru applicants, B, are at least 55 years of age, C, are in a stable family situation living under the protection of a husband, elder son or son-in-law, qualified householder couple, or senior Vaishnava or Vaishnavi Sangha. Number 2, after 5 years, the GBC shall review this resolution to determine if the number of Vaishnavis initiating in any region or as a total for the world is in keeping with Srila Prabhupada's indication of not so many.
Not so many what?
Just is quote, not so many, end quote.
Does it refer to anything?
It's probably referring to the Vaishnavi Diksha Guru candidates.
So Prabhupada said it's okay to have Vaishnavi Diksha Gurus as long as there are not so many?
No, they're saying it's in keeping with Srila Prabhupada's indication of not so many, meaning that they're kind of adopting that as their quote.
But Prabhupada didn't speak on female Diksha Gurus.
No.
So they just brought that out of nowhere?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Mhm.
Keep going. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Professor O'Connell, is it possible, Swamiji, for a woman to be a guru in the line of disciplic succession? Prabhupada, yes. Janava Devi was Nithyananda's wife. She became. If she is able to go to the highest perfection of life, why is it not possible to become guru? But not so many. That's where not so many came from. Actually, one who has attained the perfection, she can become guru. But man or woman, unless one has attained the perfection, ye Krishna Tattva Veta Se Guru Hai. Ramachandra, you want to take over?
Sure, yes.
So
So we
can
really
you define what is the perfection?
Okay, so yes, that's a very good point. What is perfection? You have said, Narayan Prabhu. Can you define what is perfection?
Can I?
No, I'm saying you have imposed a very good question. What is the perfection?
Yeah.
Unless one has attained perfection.
The perfection seems to be the only perfection they require is GBC approval.
Yes, so that's what I was going to say. Their version of perfection and Srila Prabhupada's version of perfection is two different things, right?
We don't know. I don't know if they have any regard for Prabhupada's opinion. So
what I was going to say here is,
yeah,
actually one who has attained perfection, she can become guru, but man or woman, unless one has attained the perfection. So in this case, Janava Devi was Lord Nithyananda's wife. So Lord Nithyananda Prabhu is Vishnu Tattva, right?
Oh, he's Balaram.
Yes, yes.
He precedes Vishnu Tattva. He is not Vishnu Tattva, but from him, the Vishnus emerge from Valadev. Four levels of Vishnu, which go on to become everything else Vishnu in the spiritual sky.
So in that case, Janava Devi, being Lord Nithyananda's wife, was it's not an ordinary jiva. She's eternal consort of Lord Nithyananda. So in this case,
no, I'm sorry, she's not a jiva at all.
Yes,
because she's just like one step. He is just one step down from Krishna.
Yes.
And so his wife would have to be also one step down from Radha.
Yes. So in this case,
means she's not a mortal being or jiva at all.
Yes, Prabhupada makes a two comparison. He straight goes to Janava Devi. You see how he's saying Janava Devi can, but Janava Devi was Lord Nithyananda's wife. And here in the material world, who is Nithyananda's wife? if you wanna compare like that, right?
Or who's on the same level as Nithyananda's wife, right?
Yes. So here Prabhupada says, Nithyananda's wife was guru, so anyone can become a guru. So you see here two distinct comparisons. How can you compare a jiva who's trying to attain perfection to someone who is in a consort of Lord Nithyananda?
Yeah, and therefore of the topmost, I mean, there's no indication that Chara is a jiva.
Yes, it cannot be.
And so I would say the only woman that can become a guru by this standard would have to be married to a person who is Vishnu Tattva.
Yes, that's what I was going to refer to next. Yes.
Oh, you are? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Take your steam. It's just I keep thinking of things, so I keep going.
So here, okay. So then that point, is very important here. So then I'm reading number 3 now. Furthermore, this resolution is designated as a culturally sensitive resolution per GBC. Yeah. Furthermore, this resolution is designated as a culturally sensitive resolution per
culturally sensitive.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Body, they're talking.
What culture?
Yes.
Krishna Loka culture or material world culture?
Yeah, they're talking about culture, Western culture and Indian culture, two different things, right?
But Iskcon is Krishna Loka culture.
Yes.
Where is the question of Western or Eastern in Krishna consciousness? The jiva doesn't belong to the material world, he belongs to Krishna. He's part and parcel of Krishna. So all the Krishna conscious chanting the Hare Krishna mantra does is restore the jiva to his relationship as part and parcel of Krishna beyond the material conception. So what is this whole wallowing in material pus, blood, stool, and urine stuff about?
So you see here, when they try to materialize this position of the Acharya or the Diksha Guru, they run into all this culturally sensitive resolution, material resolution, all this. They make a big mess out of it.
Well, it looks like they're trying to force Prabhupada's words to apply to their problem. In other words, Prabhupada says that the wife of Balaram or Nithyananda,
yes.
And then they're trying to force that to apply to somebody in India or America or Europe.
Yes.
Without any basis for doing so.
Yes.
They can't, in other words, they can't. Keep going. I'm sorry. Did I?
No, that's fine. I want to stop and discuss too. So as the flow goes.
Well, you're in charge.
Yes.
Do as you want.
Rupa Manjari Prabhu, do you want to comment on this culturally sensitive resolution as per Prabhupada's writing and what you have read and understood and realized?
Well, we haven't read it yet.
No, I'm saying culturally sensitive resolution. Is there something culturally sensitive resolution in the Vaishnava scriptures on regards to the position of the Diksha Guru?
No, and that seems not like that seems like a material conception, culturally sensitive. What does that mean? Like culturally?
Yes, yes, exactly. So Prabhupada did not care about culture.
Is this culturally sensitive in Krishna Loka? I mean, Balaram is Nithyananda's Balaram. Balaram is in Krishna Loka. So is this a culturally sensitive matter in Krishna Loka, or only when we're trying to ape the activity of Lord Balaram as Nithyananda on earth plus his wife?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to debunk here, that this culturally sensitive resolution is they're trying to tie it to their so-called material body, material status, like we have discussed before, that as embodied, I'm in this so-called Indian body, anything related to this body, whatever culture is, coming up in, I carry along this baggage with it. So they're applying all this in all of their resolutions, specifically this role as a Diksha Guru. So how can people take it seriously? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're trying to bring the Diksha Guru category down to a ordinary member of the congregation on steroids.
Yes.
Right. Well said.
Okay.
But that raises the point which I've begun to start making, which is that the GBC's goal as an unelected body, like the Vatican, like the cardinals of the Vatican, they want the gurus that they appoint, just the way the Vatican appoints priests and whatnot, they want them just to function to control the material churches, which they consider the church belongs to the Vatican. It's not considered a transcendental place. And as a result, it's churches under the control of priests who are appointed by cardinals. So we have GBC appointing gurus in temples that they're trying to materialize rather than taking people and putting them in the temple in order to spiritualize them.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to make the members of an Iskcon temple into good, faithful, give 10% of your income followers. We're trying to give them a platform by which they can go back to Godhead for real, not like the Catholic Church, where they'll say if you confess all your sins and pay enough money, you'll become one with Jesus or something.
So people should question, or intelligent people can see how this thing is totally off the radar. Prabhupada never talked about Diksha Guru being a culturally sensitive resolution. He talked about the qualifications, unless one has attained the qualification, Prabhupada says, just in the quote above.
Right.
But here they're talking about culturally sensitive resolution. So it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, where does culturally sensitive pertain to transcendental?
Yeah.
How can you have transcendental and culturally sensitive? The whole point of transcendental is it transcends culturally sensitive. In other words, why do you go to a guru? Is so that you can see beyond matter.
Yes.
So cultural sensitive is matter.
Yes.
There's no other way to describe it. It may be on a subtle plane, but it's nonetheless matter. It's not spiritual. There is no spiritual, culturally sensitive anything because the word culturally doesn't appear on the spiritual plane.
Yes. There you go. So we're sharing again. Can you see it now? Okay. I'll start this paragraph now. Where is it? Number 3, a regional governing body, RGB, regional governing body, or where there is no RGB, an authorized national council with the support of the GBC, or where a national council has more than one GBC, a majority of the GBCs may apply to the GBC body with a request to modify a culturally sensitive resolution for their area yatra. Such a request must include the details of the specific adjustments they pose to make, as well as the reasons for requesting such adjustments. What do you think, Rupa Manjari, this language they're using? Like, totally body conscious and,
it doesn't sound at all like anything Prabhupada ever said.
Yeah.
Bingo.
The GBC body will give guidelines and set out the parameters regarding what may or may not be adjusted within a culturally sensitive resolution. Any details, guidelines, parameters, timelines, etc., in regard to its exceptional status must be recorded within the resolution itself. Wow.
That's very interesting, isn't it?
Because
what they're saying is that the female guru has to be like on a par with the wife of Lord Nithyananda, but in order to make sure that she's on a par with the wife of Lord Nithyananda, the unelected GBC can determine if she is or not by examining her qualifications. How can a GBC, which is not a spiritual board, how can the GBC determine the spiritual qualifications of a guru?
Yeah, right. A guru.
I mean, if she's a guru, she is beyond being inspected.
Yes, or being monitored. Is totally under the direction of Lord Krishna, working under. So how can the GBC run their show, right?
Yeah. And a qualification that the female Diksha guru must be 45 years old?
55.
Oh, 55. They should have put down, if they had known anything about human physiognomy, that 55 or reached menopause, whichever comes first. Because if she is 55 years old, I mean, there are women that menstruate into their 60s. 65 years old, they get pregnant. Rare, but true. It depends. A woman has a certain number of eggs and they get discharged monthly. And so it's generally expected that she'll run out of eggs at the age of 45 or 50 or something, but they don't know that. What if she has eggs when she's 56 or 57 and she's menstruating? Can she give Diksha during her menstrual cycle?
Yeah, all these things which you just mentioned, they don't put any thought to, because everything is relative to what they are. Like Rupa Manjari said, complete ecclesiastical authority, so they can make shit up as they go along. They don't consider.
But you can see that it was men that wrote this because women knows those exceptions to menstruation. Obviously, 55 years old is meant to say post-menopause. Otherwise, why 55? Why not 25? And also, if a guru can be married and have children, why can't a female guru be married and have children? Breastfeeding while she performs Diksha.
Breastfeeding while giving Diksha.
Yeah, I mean, why discriminate?
Right.
I mean, your guru friend in Sacramento, in Silicon Valley, he's got all sorts of kids, right?
Vaisheshika doesn't have any children, no.
He doesn't? I thought he did.
No.
Okay, he's off the hook.
And C, I'd like to discuss C a little bit. Are in a stable family situation, living under the protection of a husband, elder son or son-in-law, qualified householder couple, or senior Vaishnava or Vaishnavi Sangha. So that raises a question, are in a stable family. So guru who is not in a stable family, what does this mean? Is it, and then situation, family situation, living under the protection of a husband. So if she's under the protection of the husband, then who's the guru? Is she the guru? Or he the guru, the person giving the protection?
That's a very good point, isn't it? And
right.
Another thing is, obviously, at that age of 55 of the woman who may be 10 years younger than her husband, right? Or even more, 15 years younger than her husband, he is now prohibited from taking vanaprastha as long as she's alive, or sannyas. He can't take sannyas or vanaprastha. They didn't mention the protection of her adult sons, did they?
No, it's saying, then it's saying elder son or son-in-law. So she can be a guru if she meets the requirement, if she's in a stable family situation, living under the protection of the husband, elder son, or son-in-law.
Oh, I see. Okay,
so what kind of guru is this that is under the protection of the son and son-in-law? That person should be the guru. The elder son should be the guru. Why she is going to be the guru?
Yeah, they should establish that the son or son-in-law has to be under the protection of Krishna, and that his mother-in-law is under his protection. In other words, he has to be the pure devotee if she's going to be the Diksha guru, because what does protection mean? As you point out, I'm really following up on your point. Protection. So if he's under his protection of the son-in-law or son-in-law, then who is, you pointed out, and it's quite right, under whose protection is the son or son-in-law? Does he not have to be a pure devotee himself to offer protection to his mother-in-law or mother, the guru?
Yeah, so these are some of the questions, that a female Diksha guru must be under the protection of either the husband, elder son, or son-in-law. So if they're under the protection of these people, how are they gurus? Protection means protection from who? Protection from what? Of being
material temptation.
Material temptation. Okay. Then, if
protection from walking down the street and being raped by dacoits.
So
I mean, what they should do is enable the FDG to take sannyas.
There's no question.
Then she's completely independent. She doesn't need a son-in-law or son or son-in-law or husband to look after her. She's a sannyasi.
We have Bhanu Prabhu here. Bhanu Prabhu, do you want to say something on these points here? We're discussing about female Diksha Guru and its requirements.
Is that our Bhanu?
Yes, it's our Bhanu. It's our Bhanu, yes.
Bhanu, my beloved associate Bhanu, I'm so glad you're here. You're wonderful. I cannot help but say you're great.
Okay.
Bhanu Prabhu. Now about the female gurus.
Bhanu is the Shastra Wala who needs to be asked this. So go ahead. I'm going to say nothing. You handle this, Ramachandra, and let's see what Bhanu says.
Yes, Bhanu Prabhu, go ahead.
About the women, they're recommended to take up chastity and see Vishnu in their husband.
Yes, Bhanu.
So that is the only dharma of the woman or the female.
Isn't the,
So
the
husband
guru
is the
supposed to
guru.
be free from sex desire? You say chastity. Isn't the guru required to be free from unchaste behavior?
Yes. Bhanu Prabhu, question. Is the
What's
female
the
Diksha?
question?
Nana Prabhu, can you ask the question again, Prabhu?
Yeah. Is the female guru supposed to be free from unchaste desires from which she needs to be protected by the husband, son-in-law, or son?
I mean, I never seen in the history any female Diksha gurus. Only in the wife or I think mother or wife of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nithyananda Prabhu, someone in that.
Right here.
Is it the
Janavi.
wife? Or,
Yeah. Right here.
Janavi.
Yeah, Janavi
He
Mata,
was the guru.
Yes.
Janavi Devi,
Other than that, no one was
Nithyananda
a
Prabhu's
guru.
wife, consort.
So
So
how does this requirement apply to your understanding, Banuji? So Ramachandra, why not ask him very carefully so that we get a very precise answer because of a careful question? Why don't you ask him how this applies to
Naranaran
the-
Prabhu, it was me talking. So I think
Banu?
no, this is Shravan Prabhu. This is Shravan Prabhu.
Oh, Shravan Prabhu, Haribol, we got the
Hari
we
Bol
get the
Prabhu.
whole we get the bonus of Banu and Shravan.
I'm afraid we're gonna have a lot of Ammachis inside Iskcon now.
What?
I'm afraid we're going to have a lot of Ammachis within Iskcon now.
Ammajis. Can you describe Ammajis, Shravan
Oh,
Prabhu?
Amaji, you mean that lady that likes to hug people?
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
They'll be going with their emotions if women are given gurus. Oh, God.
So Bhanu Prabhu, you're saying that there hasn't been any history of females becoming Diksha gurus. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
Vaishnava
Only some
line,
exceptions
not the-
are there.
Not,
Exceptions
not
are
the
there,
Amaji
but
line.
only exceptions are there. But
Like
generally, like Janavi Mataji, Janavi of like
Who-
Chaitanya
who's
Mahaprabhu's
Janavi?
mother, or
Who's Janavi married to?
Lord Nithyananda
It was,
Prabhu.
Nithyananda
Okay.
Prabhu. Yeah.
Doesn't that mean then that Janavi would be not Jiva Shakti? Did
Yeah.
Lord Nityananda marry a Jiva?
Mhm.
No,
She
no,
was
she's an
Goddess Lakshmi.
Uttamadhikari.
Yeah, well,
Right.
I mean, if Lord Nityananda married a mortal being, then he would be like Shiva. That's the Shiva's distinction, is that he's married a person who's a material goddess,
Mm.
right? So, and they say that you can become, Shiva can become Vishnu, I mean, Vishnu can become Shiva, but Shiva cannot go back to being Vishnu because he's come in contact with the material energy. So are we saying that Lord Nityananda came in contact with the material energy? Or are we saying that Janavi is not material energy?
No, Janavi Mataji, she acted as a guru then. That's what I'm saying.
Well, she can be guru if she's not a mortal being, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we're talking about regular girls that were raised in middle-class American homes, taking up Krishna consciousness, reaching the ripe old age of 55, and being selected to be Diksha gurus in Iskcon. How does that relate to or compare to or have any relationship
No,
to
female
Janavi?
Diksha gurus is bogus. I mean, nowhere in the Sampradaya are there female Diksha gurus. Completely bogus.
No female Diksha gurus.
Right.
So how can they come up with this idea of wanting to study Shastra? You know, our friend Vasu Ghosh says we have to not just look at what Prabhupada wrote, but read all sorts of Shastra from all over the place. Where is there Shastra that says that a a Brahmin, that a woman who does not know her Gotra, and therefore not a Brahmin by descendancy, from the sages, how can this, the Prajapatis, how can this woman become a Diksha Guru, and how can she use the example of Jahnavi when Jahnavi is not a mortal being? She's on the Vishnu Tattva platform, not on the
Jiva Tattva.
exactly.
Right.
She's not Jiva Tattva.
You should be asking that to Basu Ghosh, I think. So.
Well, Basu Ghosh doesn't support FDG.
For
Doesn't
whatever
support?
reason, Basu Ghosh doesn't like the idea of FDGs.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But they should have to make a very clear distinction that the woman who is a candidate may reach 55, but what if she hasn't finished her menstrual cycles? Suppose she has 10 more menstrual cycles or 20.
Right.
Why 55?
No. That's why.
That she post-menopause.
That's why she should live under the family situation, under the protection of a husband. So that means she can fall down,
Well, she could fall down, but even if she doesn't, she could have very messy dikshas if she's sitting there on the rag while she's performing diksha.
I mean, before, if you go by Shastra, before Prabhupada came, for the woman, husband was the guru. Now, if they become guru, then husband is the
Husband is the disciple.
Yeah, that's interesting. If she becomes a guru, does she become the guru of her husband?
Yeah. Right.
Because the husband may have taken initiation from some weenie head guru, and here's the wife who's tough as nails with a lot of hair on her chin that she has to shave off once a month, and and maybe she's got more cojones than her husband's guru.
Right.
So does he become her disciple?
Yeah.
Or does she become his shiksha guru?
Yeah, this totally doesn't make any sense when you come down scrutinizingly look at this, it makes no sense at all,
Right. I mean, that scrutinizingly is an exaggeration even, because even if you look at it even slightly, it doesn't make sense from the point of view of mere practicality.
Yeah.
Are we going to finish reading it?
Yes, we are. So just some last concluding words, Bhanu Prabhu and Narayan Prabhu, then we continue reading.
No, I think I've said more than enough.
Okay. Bhanu Prabhu, anything you want to say?
I've said exactly more than enough.
Yeah. Go on.
Okay. So let me finish it up. So we read this part already.
Yeah, we read the italics.
Yeah. Now we're reading this part here. Thus, by designating this as a culturally sensitive resolution, the GBC hereby establishes that an RGB, or regional governing body, RGB means regional governing
Hare
body.
Krishna, just a minute. So this one, Narayan Prabhu wrote to Basu Ghosh?
No. This is GBC resolutions we are reading. Manu Prabhu, this is what they pass in my.
Narayan doesn't write stuff like that, dude.
I didn't go through it.
Yes, Manu Prabhu. This is GBC resolutions passed this year.
You may think Narayan is crazy, but he's not that type of crazy.
No, I haven't read it.
A different sort of crazy.
It's different sort of crazy. Manu Prabhu, you know that. Okay. Thus, by designating this as a culturally sensitive resolution, the GBC hereby establishes that an RGB or other authorized Iskcon leadership body, as denoted in the above reference law, may opt out of this mandate and choose to not allow any Vaishnavis to initiate within their jurisdiction. So you see here?
No, I don't. What? I missed that.
Oh, okay. So this basically is saying that in India, for example, in Bharsha Ghosha's zone, they, even though this resolution has been passed by GBC and so-called requirements is met by this woman, they, the ICC and the local congregation members, they cannot allow this person to be a guru in their jurisdiction.
You realize what sort of a nightmare that creates?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The nightmare is that supposing that guru becomes very popular in part of India that accepts, or in America or Europe that accepts, and she comes to India with 200 or 400 of her initiated disciples into a zone that doesn't accept Diksha, female Diksha gurus. What is the relationship of this woman with her disciples, male and female disciples, presumably? This female Diksha guru comes in with 200 to 400 of her disciples into an Iskcon temple that doesn't allow female Diksha gurus. I mean, how does that work? and then what if she's very popular and a lot of the women and the men in that temple want to be initiated by her? What do? Go out of that temple to a temple where they do accept female Diksha gurus? Can you imagine? If she's really charismatic, the whole congregation could leave. Even the ones that are initiated said, I want to be reinitiated by the female Diksha guru. And they'll go to Boston or someplace where female Diksha guru, or Mayapur where female Diksha gurus are welcome. But not, can you imagine the nightmare of disruption that would become?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then there's going to be distinction that Americans and Westerners, Americans and Indians, even in spirituality, because of that.
Yeah, yeah. With these types
Why
of...
do you say Americans? It could be Indians want a female Diksha guru. After all, Amaji is not American.
And she has a huge following.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
She does or does not?
She does.
She used to, at least. Like, probably hundreds of thousands.
So back to this culturally sensitive resolution. So this is just totally nonsense to have this types of resolutions and, what is it? Regional governing body. They've turned a spiritual institution into some mundane, guru approving and guru disapproving.
But without any mechanical basis.
Yeah.
They're comparing to Jahnavi. Let them prove that the woman is Vishnu Tattva.
Let them prove.
If she's Vishnu Tattva, why is she married to an ordinary human being husband? Or is he also Vishnu Tattva?
Yeah, the husband would have to be Nithyananda Prabhu's level.
Yeah.
Which means the first expansion of Krishna's level in Krishna Loka.
Yes.
Or in Vrindavan, India, either one.
Okay.
Balaram is the older brother of Krishna.
Okay, so we're nearly done, Prabhus. Let me just finish this and then we'll discuss a little bit more. Any given regional governing body that does not opt out and proceeds to fully implement this resolution may at their discretion allow any given country within their region to opt out of applying this resolution. Naturally, that would only be done after very careful consideration as the default opt out. Naturally, that would only be done after very careful consideration as the default position is to always fully implement GBC resolutions. So another bureaucracy they created. They're basically saying here that, GBC resolutions must be implemented, accepted.
Implemented.
Yeah, but
unless you don't want to implement them, and if you don't want to implement them, then you should try to respect the fact that they should be implemented anyhow.
No. It's saying that naturally that would be done only after very careful consideration, as the default position is to always fully implement GBC resolutions. So there is the GBC, the GBC resolutions are there, but if you don't want to follow it, a regional governing body, RGB, you can ban the female Diksha gurus by not approving them in your region.
If the GBC is the highest spiritual authority, then why wouldn't the people that go away from the GBC's dictate be considered heretics?
Yeah.
In the Catholic Church, they did the right thing. They burned people at the stake. They boiled them in oil. They tortured them to death. They drawn and quartered. They hanged them. They crucified them. Good stuff like that. This sounds mealy mouthed to me. Doesn't have any teeth to it.
Yeah. So this is how it's going to happen. So in for example, Bashu Ghosh's side, Bashu Ghosh's Indian zone, the RGB is authorized by the GBC to opt out of this mandate and choose not to allow any Vaishnavis to initiate within their jurisdiction. So
okay. So that means that the GBC has now created a Protestant movement within their own structure.
Yeah.
That's what got Martin Luther into trouble. Is he said the soul has a direct connection with God, not just through the Pope, and so they kicked him out and killed all his followers and did all that good stuff like what they ought to do, which is torturing them to death and boiling them in oil. So how come the GBC doesn't take that position?
Yeah.
Well, crucify you or boil you in oil or burn you at the stake.
Yeah, remember what he said, that the majority of the GBC who are so-called Americans, they do not know how to cross the road in India. Remember he said some kind of comment like that?
Yeah.
And they have no cultural experience, right?
Meaning Hindu experience.
Yeah, right.
My question is, what does the GBC have to gain by authorizing them?
Authorizing them? What do you mean by them?
Authorizing FDGs.
Female Diksha gurus? What gains do they have in?
Yeah, why are they, like, what's in it for them?
Well,
good point.
That's a very good question, because at the present moment, the female body is very powerful, I guess. So if you were to have female Diksha gurus, that would, Iskcon would become even more, how can you say, progressive in the Western world, won't it? Now we have.
Why not use the word woke?
Woke, yes, woke. So that would make GBC of West Bengal more famous, or the present day Iskcon.
Well, they're probably afraid of losing members.
Yeah,
they want to attract members, and they figure with the politically correct female Diksha gurus, they'll attract members. But what they're missing out on is, what about transgender gurus? Women gurus that used to be men, and women gurus that used to be women gurus that used to be men, and men gurus that used to be women. Transgender is even more woke and even more progressive. So what about that? It's just a small tiptoe step. If they're caving into the idea of modern woke sexual politics, then they've got to go to transgender. They have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't mean this year or next year, but definitely year after next.
Bhanu Prabhu, you want to say something, Prabhu?
I think the pressure from the female counterparts to become gurus, so they so made it official.
Huh.
There's no pressure of transgender, and not much community.
But Bhanu Prabhu, do you agree that if they're going to have the women at 55 years old, they should make it clear that that woman,
Yeah.
that woman is no longer menstruating at 55?
If they're menstruating, they shouldn't
Menstruate.
even be doing deity worship, right?
No longer has her monthly menstruation period. No longer bleeds every month from the ovaries and the uterus.
Yeah. This.
I mean, I think 55. They tried to make it safe. They could have said 45, but 55. They were trying to make it safe that she's not going to have sex, presumably, although tons of 50, 60 and 70-year-old women have sex, and they are not going to menstruate. Can you imagine a woman that's using a tampon or a rag of some sort, giving Diksha, or saying, you have to postpone Diksha for 30 days until I'm no longer menstruating because I'm impure now? How can the Diksha Guru be impure?
Right.
So do we want to finish reading this?
Yes. Let me finish it up. In those regions or countries that choose to opt out, if a particular candidate for Diksha Guru is approved by a special 2/3 vote on that RGB, regional governing body, or other authorized body per above, then she shall be accepted as a Diksha Guru in that region or country. So this just basically means it's just a matter of time when these old guys like Bashu Ghosh are gone. These when the men become feminine, when the men become weak, these women can become equal to the male counterpart
or stronger than the male counterpart.
Oh yeah, stronger than the male counterpart. Yeah. So as long as these people like Bashu Ghosh are alive, they'll contest this. But there was one woman made a comment that men are very rare nowadays. All of them are gay.
Who?
There was this female devotee or devotee woman. She made a comment. Men are rare species. Nowadays, most of them are gay. She made a comment.
Yeah, but also many of the Iskcon women are lesbians, like Malati, who had a daughter who was married to Sharma Sundar. When she blooped and went off and got HIV from sharing needles for methamphetamines, and she's a candidate, of course, for being a female Diksha Guru, that she was living she was a lesbian, bisexual, but preferably lesbian.
Yeah, that is well documented. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So they're opening a can of worms that's pretty hard to deal with.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just finish this up. Let's see. A decision to opt out must be reaffirmed by that RGB or authorized body per above every 5 years. No other adjustment to this resolution are authorized or will be permitted. This resolution lifts the, does this word mean?
Abeyance.
On that
Abeyance?
matter. Yes.
Abeyance?
Yeah.
Abeyance?
Yes.
Abeyance means not included.
Let me just pull it up. Abeyance means not included. A state temporarily in disuse or suspension. Yes. Okay. This resolution lifts the abeyance on this matter stated in Resolution 310 of 2015. There we go. So this issue, I will title it Female Diksha Guru Discussion. Okay, so we covered that. Any last concluding words? Narayan Prabhu, Rupa Manjari, Bhanu, Shravan Prabhu? and whoever else is here.
I think they've cut their own throat. What can we do?
I think, in my opinion,
Yes, Shravan.
if any Vaishya can become a guru, why not a woman? Woman is considered a Shudra, right? So, there will be less of the evil of a Vaishya. In one way, there will be less child molestation, and women can be more watchful of the children also, women gurus.
Unless they're lesbians.
Shravan, unless they're lesbians.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to be any worse. I mean, we may have some fallen, women Diksha gurus. Just a matter of time.
In charge of the Gurukula is a child abuser.
Yeah, that's going to reduce. That's a good point.
So maybe the disciples will be more adherent to the gurus, female Diksha gurus. Oh God.
One thing that they take into account that they haven't taken into account is it's not that the woman's going to be more loving and generous. Generally speaking, when women are given absolute power, at least, I'm not saying this against women, I'm certainly not saying this is true always, but they tend to get extremely dictatorial.
Yeah, right.
I ran into that with Jadharani, and I ran into that with that Rochana's ex-wife in Vancouver. That she was for a while wearing saffron and running around and driving the women completely crazy, trying to control their every movement and every thought.
No, actually, such women will not be made Diksha gurus. Only gentle women will be chosen.
How do you know?
If you look at the lady in San Diego.
I'm sorry. How do you know that who will do the choosing? You're saying as though you're going to do the choosing.
If women are made gurus, the men would be giving more donations to the gurus. That could be the reason also, one of the reasons.
Okay.
More donations coming in.
That makes sense. There's more money coming into the society if there were women Diksha gurus. Yeah, that makes sense.
Why is that? Who is going to do that?
Well, women will be like, oh, our voice is being heard. We have female representatives.
I see.
And then they'll, they can have their own, GoFundMe accounts.
So you think women are going to give women money?
Yeah, why not?
I doubt it. I don't know. It doesn't work like that. Right. Men might give to women. I don't know.
Yeah, men are giving to women. That's what I'm saying. Attraction.
Yeah, men are going to give to women. Right.
Women generally don't like women.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right on that, Mataji?
Okay. Now
you know what they say. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
So when you give a woman absolute power, it's different. I mean, some men can handle absolute power, some men cannot. But practically no women can handle absolute power because their point is to hold everything in and keep everything. So to have absolute power, they become tend to be very dictatorial.
No, actually, women, they'll be chosen softer women. They'll be choosing. It gives the softness to Iskcon. Because some of them are hardliners and mafia in the Iskcon gurus. Some of them are. So,
no, but who's going to choose, Shravan? Who's going to choose? Are you going to choose? Or the GBC is going to choose?
GBC is going to choose.
And they know what to do?
Well,
okay, so enough of that. Now we're moving on to the next topic. This one is rather short. Okay, Rupert Manjari, should I start it off, or do you want to?
Sure, I'll start it off. Increasing the number of Diksha gurus.
2021. Yes.
Whereas connection via Diksha to the Parampara is essential for anyone aspiring to advance in Krishna consciousness. Whereas Iskcon needs a sufficient number of initiated devotees to perform many essential services, which can only be performed by properly initiated devotees. Where Iskcon still has a similar number of Diksha gurus at the end of the 1980s, while the number of aspiring devotees in Iskcon has increased at least 50-fold or more since then. Thus, an acute lack of Diksha gurus has become an ever-growing problem to facilitate the increased number of persons now engaged in devotional service. Whereas the present generation of Diksha gurus will be drastically reduced within the next decade or so, thus a new generation of Diksha gurus urgently needs to be established in Iskcon.
Reduced by death, right?
Maybe they should be setting up a Guru Training Institute, Harvard Institute.
Wow.
Whereas Iskcon's demography has changed from ashram living to largely being a movement of congregational devotees centered around communities, there is an increasing need of a more natural and organic Diksha Guru culture in line with Srila Prabhupada's statement in CC Adilila 135 purport. Quote, generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master.
That's amazing.
Whereas we can observe for different reasons.
Rupa Manjari, can you start again? Your voice just went down. You moved the microphone or something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, this is better.
Okay, whereas we can observe for different reasons a clear change in the social culture of the world, and therefore cannot take it for granted that smooth travel all over the world will be possible in the future. Thus, an increasing number of more locally accessible Diksha gurus, each having a moderate number of disciples, will be more sustainable and will strengthen our preaching movement as a whole, as well as local preaching projects. Whereas a considerable number of the local spiritual masters who constantly instruct their disciples in spiritual science are often not disciples of Diksha gurus who have left this world.
They're talking of it as tools made in the factory.
You know something, this is not, I'm glad we're reading this, but at the same time, it's the topic and the way of discussing it doesn't really pertain to what we're trying to do with our site, with our Zoom calls, because it's simply wallowing in the problem that the GBC has made for themselves. And we can say that they're bogus, but we already know they're bogus. So I don't see why we're going down this path very far.
No,
I mean, what they're trying to do is create smaller congregations, just like the Catholic Church. You have got so many different types of priests in every temple, in every church, and they minister to different things. They teach in the classes. They go and see older people in the old age homes. I mean, this is the same old BS that the Catholic Church has, and the Catholic Church is on the verge of failing. Right now, the Catholic Church is approving vaccinations that kill people and are derived from aborted fetus pieces. So, I mean, why are we even giving 10 minutes to let them chase us down this rabbit hole that is already doomed from the Catholic Church point of view? There's no benefit. We have a transcendental movement to pursue, and this is not it.
Bhanu Prabhu, you were going to say something?
This is the political aspect of Iskcon. I mean, the management and the GBC or all this. And the devotional aspect comes about the chanting and reading the books. And when it comes to the managing of the devotees, the political aspect, all this is a political aspect if you ponder on it.
Exactly, Bhanu.
Right.
Did they mention, with all of their paid consultants monitoring the meetings and keeping order, did they mention once Sankirtan and chanting the holy name of the Lord in the streets? Is there a single reference to the Guru? Must be an expert Kirtan leader. Is there any question that people must be able to fall down in ecstasy when they hear the Guru chant the way they would with Prabhupada? Where is there even a reference, a dim reference to spiritual life with this Guru? It seems like they're not even requiring the Guru to have, they're meant to be functioning, they're meant to go to this place, smaller congregations, different asses. But the thing is that where is the spiritual infusion of Krishna consciousness, which is what Lord Chaitanya wanted Iskcon to be when he created it, when Prabhupada created it, when Lord Krishna created it? Where is the actual standard of delivering the fallen conditioned souls in any of this expensive, paid for dialogues with consultants attached in the GBC meetings, and with nothing resolved on top of it?
It's just
I'm asking
absurd.
that question.
Yeah.
Where is there any tinge of Krishna consciousness in any of these resolutions?
Well, we cannot, I guess, expect devotional service in politics.
Well, where's the devotional service? They talked about everything else, didn't they? They talked about gender. They talked about 57 years old. They talked about so many husband and or son-in-law or son taking care of the female Diksha Guru, but they did not discuss if that female Diksha Guru can bring people to tears by her chanting.
They're saying you do the devotion and we'll manage and make money and do politics.
Okay, so what is the business of the League for 10K in giving so much attention to them, considering that what we are up to is the cure for that mentality? It's not part of it, and nor do we reject their mentality. If they want to do that, let them do it. I will get front seats for all the members of the League for 10K, front seats in the court of Yamaraj, so we can sit there grinning while they go to hell.
No, I'm just pointing out these things in the meetings here are going more and more into degradation, and these questions will be asked. You know, they are doing
in our meetings.
Not in our meeting. This is being published online, so people who see it, they'll see. Okay, this thing is.
Okay, so why we should simply reject it? It has nothing to do with the Sampradaya. It has nothing to do with the Yuga Avatar. It has nothing to do with Kirtan, chanting, hearing or chanting the holy name of Krishna. That's the only thing that's valuable is the holy name of Krishna. And they haven't mentioned the holy name of Krishna once in this entire document. Have they?
Right. Okay, let me just finish it off, then we'll be done here.
Okay,
resolved.
If we can, will we be able to get on to the next one?
Yeah, we have enough time. So
I don't want to vomit all night long.
Okay, let me just finish it up. Resolved. The GBC hereby states their commitment to increase the number of Diksha Gurus in Iskcon by systematically and promptly increasing the number of Diksha Gurus before we lose the present Gurus. The GBC
by death, right?
Yes, by death.
They don't mention by death, but that's what they mean.
The GBC also accepts that the principle that the number of Diksha Gurus must reflect as closely as possible the actual size of Iskcon, and that the future system leans to having many local Diksha Gurus with fewer disciples, rather than having a limited number of international gurus with many disciples. Furthermore, the GBC members will support and promote prominent Shiksha Gurus initiating with their Diksha Gurus while the Diksha Gurus are present. Furthermore, GBC members will support and promote prominent Shiksha Gurus initiating while their Diksha Gurus are present. The GBC will also support programs that facilitate more Diksha Gurus while the present Diksha Gurus are with us.
So in other words, the other gurus, the younger, less experienced gurus, are going to be Ritviks?
No, they will take on the sins of.
They're going to be Ritviks for the bogus gurus, right? The bogus
Yeah.
gurus are going to die, and the assistant gurus are acting in their behalf as Ritviks for producing initiations under their guidance, right?
That's a good question. I'm not sure what do they mean here. What do you think, Rupa Manjari Prabhu? Or Bhanu
Sorry,
Prabhu?
I didn't hear.
They're saying the present gurus are going to stay and they're going to increase the production of Diksha gurus. But they aren't saying what is the criteria for making Diksha guru.
Mhm. Okay.
So anyhow, can we, did we complete that?
Yes, that's complete. So let me stop the session here and name it. Then we'll start with your document that you sent. 1 second.
That would be nice.